So I would say we can go ahead and get started. I'll take a second to just introduce our speaker for today, Yanni. Yanni is a researcher at the National Institute of Agricultural Technology, coordinator of the Agro-Ecosystem Modeling Network, UNAB, and UDE professor. She is co-founder of Meta Docencia, learnr, and Our Lady Santa Rosa chapter, member of the Carpentries Executive Council, Our Ladies Global and Leadership Team, Our Forwards Core Team, our Consortium Infrastructure Steering Committee, R4 Data Science ES User Working Group, Minorities in R, and Argentine Society of Computer Science. She has a website that I'll put in the chat if you'd like to learn more about her. And without further ado, here's Yanni talking to us about creating interactive tutorials using learnr.
Okay, thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you so much for the invite. I'm really excited to be here. The idea is to go through creating a learner tutorial. So I'm going to start introducing some characteristics, and then I'm going to share with you an RStudio Cloud project. And if you want to, you can follow me while I'm coding and showing you things. I know that I have a strong accent, so if you don't understand anything that I say, please ask. It's okay, just let me know, write on the chat, or unmute yourself, and just say to me, Shani, can you repeat again what you're trying to say here? And I will be trying to explain one more time. So let's go to try to share my screen. Let's see, after 2.5 years of pandemic and Zoom, we still need to check. We actually can share. Thumbs up if you can see my slide. Awesome, thank you for that. I'm going to move some Zoom stuff. So when I see this in front, I'm watching you. When I see it to my side, I'm going to be watching my RStudio Cloud on my slide. So it's not like I'm seeing the cat or something else, but I'm switching the screen. Okay, so what is this? What is this about interactive tutorial? What is this about learning and gradethis? Okay, my goal today is try to introduce you to this world, this kind of stuff that you see here. These are tutorials, lessons, classes that you can share with your students, with your colleagues. You are going to have some text, videos, pictures, and you're going to have some interactive part of these tutorials, like multiple choice questions or coding, where your students will write code and they are going to have some feedback from you. So that is the interesting aspect of this tool. This is another example. As you can see, you can do really beautiful things and really interesting things to share. How a typical learning tutorial looks like. Not all are so beautiful like these two that we see on the examples, but most of the time are going to have a table of content and a progress bar indicating how much you already see and resolve from the tutorial. Some text explanations, narrative, some code exercise, and some multiple choice question. This is how the some template that we are going to see in a couple of minutes brings to you when you start a learning tutorial. Let me ask you a question and please answer on the chat. This made you familiar? Is this familiar from another thing using R that you are seeing before? Like that datacam, something similar? Yes. This is new to me. First time I see this in R. Okay, awesome. Cool. Let's see if we can do some of this tutorial together. In the background, what is behind this is actually Rmarkdown. So let me know in the chat if you are familiar with Rmarkdown. Yes, I love it. Yes, yes, awesome. You are going to see that you can transform an Rmarkdown file in a learner tutorial with some little tricks. Hey, hi, Steven. How are you? Nice to see you here. Nice to see familiar faces. So, a learner tutorial that we have on the right of the screen, and a common Rmarkdown we have on the left. I say that right, right and left. That's correct. Yes, that's okay. Awesome. We have a yarn at the beginning. We are going to have a chunk, a setup chunk. We are going to have plain text with the same rules that any Rmarkdown. We are going to have code chunks with some little differences. The first thing in a learner tutorial is that the output is going to be learner tutorial and the runtime is going to be shiny pre-render. So instead of neat button, we are going to have a run document button. Next, we need to load the learner package. So we are going to have library learner on the setup chunk. And then we are going to add anything we want to use. And in the case of the chunks, the code chunks, we have a special type of chunk that is an exercise. So we are going to add a parameter exercise equal true, and this is going to be a special type of chunk that are going to be this one where our students can write code and we can give some feedback about that code. So as you can see, if you know Rmarkdown, it's not so hard to start to build a learner tutorial. Okay, this is the idea. I'm going to share this project on the chat. You can go there. If you don't have an account on RStudio Cloud, you can log in with Google or GitHub, and you can save a permanent copy on your account, and you're going to have this project that I built with a learner tutorial. And if you have to screen it, if you want to, you can follow me with what I'm going to do now. Okay, let me know. You can log in. And if you see something like this, let me know. You stop seeing my slide and you start to see the RStudio Cloud. Yes, awesome. Great. Perfect. Thank you for letting me know on the chat. Okay, the only difference of RStudio Cloud with RStudio in our desktop is the internet connection, and that you are going to see all the browser stuff. And probably you are seeing something like this with this tab on the side. If you click on these 3 lines, this is going to disappear and you are going to have more space on the screen to work with the RStudio Cloud. So if my internet connection allows me, we are going to start to create a learner tutorial. So the first thing is to go to File, New File, Rmarkdown, because it is an Rmarkdown document. And here we are going to choose from template, and we are going to choose interactive tutorial learner. And the title could be Meetup, whatever you want to. And if you click OK, you are going to have a template. You can see already the output and the runtime that we see on the slide, and the library learner on the setup chunk. And we have this run document. So I'm going to ask you to do that. Please click run document, and let's see how this template is. You see my window. Everything's okay. Awesome. Thank you for this thumbs up. So let's try to see the code, and let's try to see what we have when the document is rendered. So we have this subtitle, topic 1. Then we have a 3-level title, exercise, and it's the one we have here. You can see on the render document, and this table content shows topic 1 and topic 2. So the table content is built using the the 2 hashtag title. Yeah, everything we use as 2 hashtag is going to be on the table of content. Everything that is 3, 4, 5 hashtag is going to be inside this, and then we can choose in the YALM how much we want to show on this table of content. And then we have this chunk, 2 + 2, exercise equal 2, that show me this box here. Every single time that I will use exercise equal 2, and then on a code chunk is going to build this box on the tutorial with this run code button and this start over and 3 lines by default. We can then say we want 5 lines, 50 lines, whatever we want to. And we can start to write some code here, 2 + 2. And we can run this, and we are going to get a result. So we have a little R inside these boxes. We can use functions. So, and we have this IntelliSense. So I start to write, and the functions start to appear. I can choose. If I make some syntax mistake, I also have this button, the X with the red square, that let me know that I miss 1 bracket, for example. So we have this little IDE inside these boxes, and we can write our code here. In the line 31, we have the other chunk of code. Yeah, Christian, yes, that's it. That's right. We have a chunk of code with some code inside. So you can see that in the second box, there is not a blank box, but I have a body of a function. So this is really interesting when we teach, because I can give my students a code to complete. I can give them a code to fill in the blanks, for example. So I complete some part of the code and leave some blanks so they can fill with the right answer. I can give some disordered code and request my students they put the steps in order, for example. So I can fill these boxes with information and then request my students to do something about. And this is really nice to do because I can use this kind of exercises like formative assessment. So I can check that I explained something, I made them watch a video, and then I give them an exercise and I check understanding. Not only me as a student, as a teacher, but also them as students. Do I really understand this? Do I really can do this? Most of the time, we understand when a teacher explains to us, but until we don't do things, we don't really know if we actually understand. So this gives us this option to try out the code we want to, and to check if we understand, if we are able to repeat something, to fix something, to complete something. Please let me know if you have any questions or any comment. I'm reading the chat, so feel free to do this. Okay, if we go to we continue and we go to the next page of the tutorial, we have another exercise, and this one has a hint. So in the line 43, okay, in the line 45, we have the exercise, and in the line 49, we have how we can add hints to these exercises. So if we click on that button, in this case, we have already the solution to this exercise, but we can add hints to help our students to solve these exercises. So in this case, we can write the solution. So now we have the 6 rows, now the 10 rows as shown in the first place. But I can also write a function that I know that is not the one we are looking for. But as it's a valid function and there is no syntax mistake, the tutorial give me the result and don't say anything about it. So we are going to see how gradethis can help me to give a better feedback about what their students actually write here. So the last thing that I want to see on this template is that we can have multiple choice questions. So in the line 59, we have a multiple choice that is one only option. So we need to choose one option and submit an answer. And then if it is correct, we are going to have a feedback. And if I choose something wrong, they're going to say me incorrect. These are the default options, but you can personalize the message and you can give feedback a better feedback with more information for your students. When we build a multiple choice question, it's good to think about the correct answer. And then for each incorrect option, we need to think about what we want to know about misconception of our students. So I'm not going to give any wrong answer, but an answer that help me as a teacher to understand what they don't understand. So if people choose this option, it's because I need to re-explain this. But if they choose this other option, then what they don't understand was this other part. So when you design multiple choice, please take into account that your wrong answers have a diagnostic power that help you to know if you can continue or what you need to explain one more time because they choose the wrong answer. This doesn't have to do with R, this has to do with teaching, but this kind of tool can be really helpful and useful if we use and design in a way that is correct or useful for us. Okay. I'm going close now this, and we are going to modify the template to do some other things. Yes, Christian, we can change the YALM, and we can, in the YALM, we have an option that you can say that they can try again anytime they want to. I think that is on the slide. Let me see. Well, I'm going to share that option. Yeah, and we can also say that they can go to the next topic, even if they don't complete all the exercises. So they are not stuck in a place until they answer everything. So you can also change the language. Learner now has a translation, so it's not a problem for you, but was a problem for me. So we translate to Spanish and French and Portuguese, and you can, there is a parameter on the YALM that is language, and you choose which one you want. The buttons and the interface appear, inclusive the message, the default message are also translated. So if anyone wants to do in another language and wants to do the translation, let me know and I will explain how to do that too. Okay, let's go to see about this exercise with hints and solution, and we try to give some feedback about this. As I say, we can give more than one hint, and for doing this, I'm changing in the line 49. You need to add an /1, /2, /3, and the number of hints that you want to give. So we can say something like, if tail is you the last rows of data frame, then give you the first one. Okay, I want you to see what happens here. RStudio is telling me that I have some kind of error here, some kind of bug. And if you see this, it's correct because I'm writing text in a chunk of code and it's not a comment. So this is not right. But if I run the document, everything is going to be fine because this is a chunk that is an exercise. So they understand that this is a hint and I can have text there. I can have no valid code because I also expect that you can put not working code inside the exercise chunk so your student can fix it. Yeah, so you can have error and bugs in these chunks, whatever is going to be fine and run. So here is the hint. And in the second one is the solution, the original one. So the other things that I want you to see is that we can have, okay, I'm going to add a new chunk of code. I don't know how to spell the shortcut in English. Control Alt. I'm going to write, I'm sorry. There, that is the shortcut to add a chunk of code. So then you're going to teach me the pronunciation of that one. So the idea here is to add something that is called a solution. And what I did, what I just did was copy the name of the chunk of code. Thank you, Courtney, for the Mac shortcut. Because how learner knows that this hint belongs to this chunk and don't belong to the other chunks that we have on the tutorial. It is because we are going to use always the same name. So the name that we give to the chunk that has the exercise equal true, we need to use this name on each one of the hints and in the solution. I'm going to add the solution here, and I'm going to add another hint here. Okay, it's not. So let's run this. And the solution is going to be the last hint that we are going to see on the tutorial. Now, why this is an important characteristic, an important chunk, because when I going to ask gradethis to check the code of my students, they are going to check, one of the ways to check the code is against what we write on solution. So if what my students write on the box is identical of what I write on solution, then they are going to get at, well done, good job, excellent, is correct. If what my students write on the box of code is not equal to the code that is in solution, they're going to get a message of this is wrong. What is the problem you see with that? If you see any problem with that. Yes, multiple solutions might not be an exact match. Exactly. Most of the time, you can have more than one way to get to a solution. So we are going to see how check for a result instead of the code. But if you only have one way to do things like this one, check against the solution is a very good idea. So we are going to see this now, and then we are going to do something a little more complex. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go to the setup chunk and add a library, which is gradethis. I'm going to copy and paste on the chat. And this is the library that are going to allow me to check what is writing on the box. I go back to my exercise. I'm in the line 61, and we are going to add here another chunk of code. I'm going to copy the name because it has to be the same. And I'm going to add /check. This is the name that this part of the exercise needs to have. And then we are going to use a function that is called gradethis. And let's go to run this to see what happens. Now my box has a new button, have this submit answer. Yeah, we have only run code, and now we have run code and submit answer. So this is like these other platforms where you can write your code. With run code, you check what what the outcome is, how this look, and when you submit answer, then you call the chance to check your code against the solution. So if I add here max, for example, and go to submit answer. Oh, okay. Now I got an error, but because the gradethis is not, yeah, the gradethis is not working properly. Okay. Let me. No, Robert, print slash limit is the name. So the slash hint slash solution and slash check are the one who are what learner actually wait. Yeah, so in this case, it's just the name. You can write there whatever you want to. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That is what it has to do. Yeah. Let's see if we can if we can see it too. Yeah, it's awesome, right? I love these tutorials. I love these things. Yeah, exactly. So in this case, it's taking head from the solution because it's the function that they found in the code we write, and it's taking max from the text that I wrote. So if we write head here and submit an answer, it's give me the answer and then another message, smashing correct. Yeah, so but in this case, remember, you need to, the solution of your students and has to be identical of your solution. And that sometimes can be really frustrating when you know that the solution is right and the tutorial keeps saying to you, it's not like this, because your professor writes some step of the pipe in a different way that you did, for example. Yes, you can have multiple variants of the solution. There is several functions that gradethis gives to us. And one is gradethis condition, and you can think about several. And the other is gradethis result. So you can check. The result one is the one that I use most, because if I know what is the result that I'm looking for, I can check about that, and it doesn't matter if my student use different functions that I thought, if they use more steps than the one that I did, or if they do this step in different orders, because if they found the same row that I want to get of the same number or whatever, then I know that is correct. This is a problem when you have to see result as a plot, for example, because you can compare like a picture. So what I do in those scenarios is to give the code, request them do something, get the plot as a result on the tutorial, and then ask some multiple choice questions about things that I know that has to be on the plot if the plot is right. Or ask for the wrong answer about common mistakes that I know they're going to do in that plot. I teach visualization a lot, so this is kind of things that you start to know what mistakes your students did most of the time. And you even understand sometimes that is the way you explain some stuff, so you can even improve the way you teach. But that is a way to mix the multiple choice questions with some exercise that you can't check with these common functions. Okay. Let's try to do. Anyone have some answer, a comment here? Please let me know. Everything is okay. Okay, amazing. And I'm speaking in English, so this is exciting. You understand me? We are going to try to do one of these results check, and for that I'm going to ask you to go on the project to the Penguin folder, and there are penguins RMD, which is actually a learner tutorial. This learner tutorial was built by Mine Sentikasha Rondel, and I'm taking advantage of this to show you. So let's go to run this so we can see this tutorial. So again, we have the table of content. Now we have this beautiful picture. We have some learning goals. And then we start to have this chunk of code, multiple choice questions, and some code to check. So what I want to do is to go and look on the code. Let's go to see the YALM. Christian, here is what you asked me on the line 6 is allow skip true, and that allow people to retry to get the right answer on the questions. And this progressive true also don't show all the tutorial on one page. So this is going to show for each one of the titles that we write on the table contents, and it's going to appear with these continue buttons that we see. So this is some of the things that we can change. And then let's go to the exercise, and in the line, oh, okay, I'm going to write on the chat. Numbers are hard. And 125, that's the number. You have here a great result function. So this is the function, and then we start to use function that we usually use when we test things. And we can ask for example, here is, okay, pass, that this is going to be, this is okay, when what we have in the object.result is what learner return from what my students write on the box, the result of the code they write, not the text of what they write, but the result. And you can access different part of this result, and you can check these again numbers on again a result of other function. And here has two fails. Because they know if they get 123 instead of 124, that is the correct answer, then there is a problem here. And then show us has to say no for whatever other wrong answer that we can think about. So this is a really nice example. Let's go to try to use something of this on We Meetup exercise. So one of the things that we can do, okay, let me write result pass if let me copy this. There is in the chat. You can take advantage of this. We are going to say identical. We're going to say result. And here I can use hid empty cars, which is what I'm looking for. And then we are going to add a fail if and if we're going to add this one, which is the generic one.
Yanni, don't you have to take out the, in this data set, the most common species of penguins someplace? Shouldn't that not be in this one? Am I wrong?
I'm sorry, Win. What you
in the meetup file, the meetup RMD, there's text.
Ah, yeah.
on line 64.
Yes. Okay. Yes. We're going to write here. This is great. Head is the function. And we can add here, no quite trade again. Yes. Thank you. So let's see if this works, if we do something. So if I write max here and submit an answer, we get now, not quite, try one more time, which is our message. I still get the result because max is a good function. But this time the message is my message and not the default one. And then if I use the right function head again, now I have my message. This is great, head is the function. So I can do this as complex as we imagine. And one of the nice things that this Penguin tutorial has is that have some exercise that if you want to, after this meetup, you can try to solve. So I hope that you will are able to do this too. Some things that I want to share with you before we get to the hour. How you share this, how you can share these tutorials with your students. Okay, we have 3 options. You can publish this as a Shiny, but this means that you are going to have some cost of, if you have a lot of people using this, you probably has to pay, or the Shiny app is going to go down every time. So if you have a lot of students, this is perhaps an expensive solution. It is an expensive solution for me. So you can try to do something with Binder, which is free. So you can try to publish the Shiny app there with your tutorial. The good things about this is that you share a link and your students can go through this tutorial. Or I'm going to tell you after that what is Binder. But it's kind of a cloud that you can configure a server. It's like a Docker, but for science and for free. So it's really interesting to use. But the idea is a Docker where you configure a server, whatever you need, people can run there. The other options are to build a package with the tutorial, which is one of the ways that I use the most. So I have a lot of these tutorials on my GitHub, and I made my students install on their computers, and they can access this on the tutorial tab of RStudio. Now RStudio have where you have environment and Git, and you have tutorial now as a tab, and they can access after they install, they can access from there. So this is a very good way. What can happen here, the problem that I have with some of my tutorials is that if your students have Windows and they don't have our tools well installed, they can have some issues installing the tutorial because of some of the package that I need, the dependency. So this can be annoying for some students, especially if they are beginners, can be a not nice start. So I usually did a synchronous class where we installed everything we need, and then we start to learn R. I teach online most of the time. I'm not teaching in person since COVID, and I don't know if I'm going to teach again in person. And then you can send the RMD file. So you can send this, they install learnr, gradethis, and they run the document. And they are going to have the solution there? Yes. If they are clever enough to go through the document and find the solution, I'm okay with that too, because that means they know how to read code and how to read an Rmarkdown. So that's awesome too. I'm okay with that also. So these are the options that you have, and how you can use it to teach. I use this as a pre-class assessment. When I one day remember some concepts, I send them a tutorial that go through these things that I want they practice before the class. I use it a lot as the exercise during the synchronous class. So I teach something 15 minutes, I do like coding, and I send them to breakout rooms, 4 or 5 people. One of them share the screen, they go through a tutorial, then they go back and we discuss about what happens, how this go, if they can solve this. I also use this as flipped classroom. So they see the theory in their house, and we solve this learner tutorial on the synchronous class, and we go through the problems they found. And I also use this as a way to know what they know about a topic. So when I start with some course and they have to know some stuff for being successful in my course, I use this learner tutorial to see if they actually know what I need, or I need to teach something or to help them to remember some of these concepts. So most of the time they love it. They really like this tutorial, especially as the practical side of a class. So in these breakout rooms, working with the classmate is the way they really enjoy using this. So most of the time I made them to fill a survey, an anonymous survey at the end of every class. And I asked them one thing they really like that I have to maintain, and one thing that they want I change. And I read this, and the tutorials, they're always on the, please keep this because are useful and nice. So if you want to learn more about this, where you can go, the package has a web page with a lot of examples. The RStudio primers that you can access on the RStudio Cloud on this tab at the left side are all built with learners. All of these are learner tutorials, and they are really good tutorials. And then you have 2 talks. One is my talk on the RStudio Conf about this, with more examples about multiple choice question. It is in Spanish, but you have subtitles in English. And then there is this other talk by Mine, where she talked about how to use this grade function to collect the answer of the students and to do it with a lot of students. So this is really, really nice talk to see. And as a summary, and because I love concept maps, let's see what we saw today. An Rmarkdown can be a learner tutorial, contains a YAML, Markdown, format text. The YAML is used for the metadata, so it's set up our tutorial. We use that in the learner tutorial can also have our code, inline or chunks. These chunks can have names and parameters. And the chunks, they are called the format text produce content. This content can have text, table, plots, pictures, videos. And in this content, we can have exercises. And these exercises can have a check for feedback, solution, more than 1 hint, and complete or incomplete code. And in this content also can be quiz questions with multiple choice, with custom feedback, and with multiple correct and incorrect answers. So this is more or less everything we saw today, really quickly. But I think that I also comply with the timing. So thank you so much. There are my contact, and I'm going to stop sharing the screen so I can show you. I hope
Thank you so much. That was really fascinating.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm reading the chat. Okay, I hope that is useful and you want to try some of this. I have a web page about this, but most of the content is in Spanish, because you know this, because my beautiful accent that I don't speak English as a native language. But if you follow Mine and you follow Alison Horst and Alison Premaskill, they have really nice, Desiree de Leon, they have really nice things in English about this.
I have a question.
They are,
oh, go ahead.
They are the slide. So if anyone wants to use the slide, there is the link. Yeah, Christian, tell me.
Oh, it says on the slides, I need access. I tried clicking the link and it says access denied.
Okay, let me try changing the. Try now.
Oh, it works.
Okay. That was the permission on Google slide. Great. Sorry.
I was just like glancing through the documentation on gradethis, and I saw it doesn't just let you give like success messages or fail messages. It also lets you give maybe messages. And so I was wondering, have you ever used those? I mean, sometimes I would imagine not.
No, okay. No, I only use right or wrong. And yeah. What I did was what Todd asked about, to have several options. But I also found that, come on, human beings can be so creative about ways to solve stuff and not to solve stuff. So it's really hard for me to imagine every solution that my students can think. So I try to think about things going wrong so I can give a better feedback when they make a mistake, to try to understand what the mistake is so I can direct them to the right place to reread and or retry more than the right solution. I'm not so worried about the right solution, but the mistake, so I can help them to fix that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yanni, I know that like our Markdown is a little bit outdated now that they have Quarto. Do you think that they'll change? You have no idea, huh? Do you think they'll change learnr?
No, I have no idea, and I don't. For what I read, they are not going to stop doing things and updating Rmarkdown. And the only difference that I see until now between these two technologies that you can run Quarto without having R installed, and that you can use other languages, Python, and on these documents. But I'm still not going to change, because for me, for what I use, this still don't have any advantage of what I can do with Rmarkdown. And there is a lot of people that we already use this, and you have a lot of implementations using Rmarkdown. And I mean, I have automatic report from my shop, and I'm going to change that just because the technology changed. So yeah, Quarto is a new, it's very interesting. If I'm going to do something new with Quarto, I'm going to try to write a book using this, like a way to learn this and use for something useful. There is the web page. I'm already checking this, but for me, it's not worth with the job and the learning curve to change things that I'm already have in Rmarkdown. So not every time you need to follow the last stuff. You need to see it's really useful for you. So I feel like that. At some point, it was my timeline on Twitter was all Quarto. Everybody talking about that. Okay, I'm going to check at least the web page. And when I read and see, no, come on, I still don't need this. But
I'm with you. I don't think I need this.
Well, see, I mean, that's how I felt though when our Markdown came out.
Oh, really? Like, were you like, I have Sweeve, I have like.
Yeah, that was, so I'm just warning you.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, I remember talking to someone who was on the education team at our studio, and I was complaining about how fast they iterate. And he was like, you put a bunch of coders together and they're going to build new code. They're going to build so it's just what happens. But anyway, so I just want you to know that I did feel that way about, because I used Emacs forever.
Oh, yeah.
I used Emacs forever. Emacs with ESS. I'm sure you did too, Yanni, right?
No, I never have a Mac.
You always used you didn't, yeah, you started with RStudio, or?
No, for coding I was using VS Code for a long time.
Right.
I also use Eclipse, and I code, since we code in a terminal. So I start with basic and several years ago. So oh my god, before much. Yeah, so
I'm very old. I used VI. That was what I used when I started coding. Yeah, sorry. Vim.
VI improved.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, no, I made our studio because of our babies, actually. I didn't use that before. So I met our studio in 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Walter. I'm agree with your comment. Use what makes you productive. Yes. You also start to know the shortcuts and the plugins and the options that your IDE has. So you most of the time you even do these things by muscle memory. So yeah, yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so awesome.
Thank you so much. I guess if
Okay.
there's no other questions, we'll wrap up.
Okay, thank you one more time for the invite and for having me and for listening. So it was really nice.
See you.
Awesome. Thanks
Bye.
again. Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Best
Bye,
of luck.
Phil.
I'll be around to hang for overtime if you want to talk, Todd, or if anyone else wants to join.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop recording. Stop recording, Kristen.
Okay.